So
You're looking at me and I'm looking at the camera.
Have a style. So what have you learned over this last year?
You can't do it. You need a little bit of a gap, Anna, otherwise you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle to cut that.
Okay, right.
Right, you need a proper gap. Hi there, my name's Sarah Clayton and I'm one of the directors at Simple Stuff Works.
And I'm Anna Waugh, one of the other directors at Simple Stuff Works.
We wanted to explain a little bit about our background, really. We're sisters and we grew up in a really unusual house. So our mum and dad are John and Liz Goldsmith, and some of you might know things like the Goldsmith indices of body symmetry. And basically for 30 odd years they were involved in the really early development of postural care and protection of body shape. So as kids growing up, that meant that we were always being measured, our friends were always being measured, and it was just a little bit weird.
We didn't get many friends coming round really. Once you've been measured once, then you didn't really want to go round to the house again. So we sort of spent our childhood growing up around the world of assistive technology and complex equipment for complicated people, I guess you could say.
So Simple Stuff Works has been around since 2007 now.
Yeah.
And this last year, the way that we work has changed completely. So we wanted to share a little bit about why that's happened and what we've learned in the process.
So Sarah, seeing as you are considerably older than I am, do you want to explain a little bit about therapeutic positioning, seeing as you've been doing it for so long?
Thank you so much, Anna. Yes, I have been doing it for quite a long time. So, 22 years, in fact, which is a little bit frightening. But anyway, so we think about therapeutic positioning for somebody who is at high risk of developing changes in their body shape. And your risk increases as your mobility decreases. For children, if we're thinking about, if we stick with children for a little while, children grow at night. It's when their growth hormone is secreted. So if we think about the position that a child's in at night time, it's that position that will dominate the way that that child grows. If we have a destructive lying posture, then we'll start to see changes in a child's body shape. So we might start to see them having difficulty around their hips and pelvis, and we also will see them starting to have changes in their chest shape and then subsequently the shape of their spine. This is a tool that I absolutely love, and you can use it in two different ways. So you can use it to analyse the 24-hour position of somebody. So where is this person over 24 hours? That doesn't mean where are they? Are they in school? Are they at home? It means where are they in terms of, are they sitting? Are they standing? Or are they lying? So firstly, where are they? And secondly, do they have the equipment that enables that position to be stable and supported? The other way that we use this is it can be great to think about who are the people that are supporting that individual over 24 hours. Because when we know that, that gives us a great kind of order of priority, if you like, for helping people with regards to training. It's really important that a child's lying position matches their seated posture. So a great way of identifying whether they match is literally to put a chair, the person's wheelchair, at the end of the bed. Whilst they're lying in bed, just have a think, do they match? So you can see from these pictures of Nell that only one of these lying positions matches the seated posture. The difficulty is that the lying posture always wins. So no matter how much we want to maintain that stable, symmetrical seated posture, if the lying posture is not stable and symmetrical, the seated posture will always lose.
Working the way we do now, providing assessments and support remotely, is a fantastic way of placing us as part of a much wider community of postural care champions across the nation. So by working the way that we did before, we were really limited in how we could support people because time simply didn't allow us to support people really, really effectively. So I would spend a lot of my time, for instance, driving. I'd find myself on the M6 for hours and hours at a time. And actually now I know that I can support a family in Cardiff with an assessment and a therapist in Cardiff, and we can assess someone's equipment needs at 9 o'clock in the morning. By 10:30, I could be setting up somebody in their equipment in Newcastle upon Tyne and getting them kind of started on their postural care journey and getting their equipment all ready to go. By lunchtime, I might have been supporting a therapist in Holland, for instance, who is wanting to do a family workshop and get some families trained up in how to use their equipment. I can do a week's worth of work in the space of a morning by providing this support online, and it just means that all the therapists across the country and all the families that we have the privilege of working with have equitable access to our support and our services.
One of the challenges is how we move forwards from this, and how we learn to adapt to the future of healthcare. And I think, having a more nimble healthcare service, in particular within learning disabilities, it's not traditionally the most dynamic of areas of healthcare. So I think that's going to be a real challenge, and if we look at, what's happened in the past is, our old ways of working were where there were such health inequalities as you can find it on the leader, the leader report, 44% of deaths were preventable, and I think that physios particularly can have a big part in helping to prevent some of those deaths. Adapting more or integrating telehealth or giving it as a first line option, I think would be really important, and I think that's something that we can work with equipment providers more on, such as yourselves. We can provide information from a clinical standpoint, and then that would help you guys with sizing, because ultimately we'll come to you guys with saying, look, we've come to you because we think your equipment will work. Can you just give us something that will fit? And then the application of that equipment is down to me as a therapist.
The clinical assessment by a therapist is an absolutely vital part of getting postural care right. During that assessment, the therapist will support the child and their family to understand their need. They will conduct any measurements of body symmetry or range of movement that's appropriate. And it's an opportunity to build that therapeutic relationship with the child and those that support them, including their parents. Another aspect of the assessment is to consider the safety considerations that are specific to that child and family, and to work with them in order to understand and establish what's important to that child and family. What is it that they're hoping to achieve? Simple Stuff Works have a range of accredited training. If you do feel that you would like some support to help you to develop your clinical assessment, please do get in touch and we'll be very happy to help. More than half of the therapists that we work with undertake their product selection independently. If you're unfamiliar with our kit, don't panic. We can find ways to get stuff out to you so that you can try it out for yourself. So the Mansfield project, it was a very long time ago. Thank you for pointing that out again. It was quite revolutionary, wasn't it, in its day? I worked on that project in the late 1990s, and the key things that we found were that people need support. They need regular support when they're introducing nighttime positioning. Measurement of body symmetry is important so that you know whether what you're doing is working. One of the key ones is it takes about 3 months for a child to get used to using nighttime positioning, which always makes me smile when therapists ask if they can use if they can have equipment for a week for a trial. And it's like, well, you can, or if you have the equipment to do that, go for it. But it won't really tell you anything because it takes much, much longer than that. We're thinking about really complex lifestyle changes, and to set a time limit of a week on that is a little bit overambitious, really.
Over the last 18 months, as a team, we have provided over 3,000 online support sessions for families and therapists. And what's become abundantly clear is we're using the same or similar equipment for every single person. That's not surprising because we're trying to achieve the same principles for people, regardless of their age or diagnosis. We're trying to achieve the same goals with regards to protection of body shape. So we've developed 5 set kits that we know work each and every time. We've got kits for older people, a kit for teen or adults, kits for babies and for children as well. So we've got lots of different options available depending on who it is that you're supporting. These kits future-proof your postural care. Funding's really, really hard for people to get for nighttime positioning. So these kits mean you've got everything in place to support you for a number of years. And that's really important because it offers flexibility and versatility so that you can make sure that as someone's needs change or as somebody grows, you've always got kit in place to support them. And they also give you the option of supporting people in supine and side lying, so people have choices available to them. So when it comes to the actual equipment for nighttime positioning, our name says it all really. Simple stuff works. The more complicated you make nighttime positioning equipment, the less likely families are going to want to use it at 2 o'clock in the morning when people are already sleep deprived. So we've got the lovely Sian here, who's modelling for us today and demonstrating how our equipment works. So to start off with, the 2 fundamental parts of our sleep system are these 2 layers here of non-slip mesh that form the base. Now this mesh, 1 layer goes around the mattress and 1 layer goes on top of that. This mesh is really, really important. So it's anti-mite, it's antifungal, it's hypoallergenic, it has silver running through it, so it's antimicrobial, so really big nasty superbugs can't survive on it. It's latex free. It's a fantastic hygienic part of the system. And it's in between these 2 layers of mesh that we're going to rest supports. So you might have wedges, you might have very simple lateral supports, but that's what's going to kind of form the basis of your sleep system. So on top of the non-slip mesh layers, you then have the option of our mattress toppers. So we have a pressure relieving mattress topper, or we have the option here that Sian is using, which is our temperate mattress topper. It's made from a non-woven fibre that wicks moisture away from the skin and helps to keep people really comfortable with regards to their temperature. And over the top of everything, you have a big, soft, stretchy sheet. Now the great thing about our sleep system is you can go in double beds, single beds, cot beds. Doesn't matter kind of the situation that somebody is sleeping in, we can provide a sleep system to work for them. So in between the 2 layers of mesh is where we're going to pop supports, and we're going to build support up around Sian to keep her really, really comfortable. And you'll see how easy it is. So we just lift up the 2 layers here, pop the support in place and tuck everything back down again. How's that feel, Sian? Very comfortable. There we go. So you can see here, Sian's got some support around her torso, and we've also got some support around her legs as well to help to keep them in a really comfortable, neutral midline position. So Sian's using one of our leg supports, our supine stabiliser. We also have our multi-plane stabiliser here, and we have the option of side lying too. We also have options for supporting people's feet. Now you can see here, poor Sian, we've got her up from her desk and she's come and lay down for us to be a model today, so she's still got her trainers on. Obviously most people probably wouldn't sleep in their trainers. But we have options of our foot supports, which are great for helping to keep the feet in a really nice neutral supported position. So one of these would go on Sian here to keep her in a nice comfortable position. It also frees up her heel from the bottom of the bed as well, because obviously if someone is in a supported supine position, you might load the heels up with pressure. So we want to make sure that we're taking care of people's pressure care as well as somebody's postural care. When you're deciding on therapeutic positioning equipment, it isn't a case of thinking, well, that equipment company, they do face-to-face assessments and that one doesn't. Because if the face-to-face assessment was the indicator as to whether or not something was going to be successful, then you would never have a family who have tried a sleep system and didn't get on with it and never used it again. You wouldn't have a failed sleep system, because that face-to-face assessment, although it's been helpful in the past, it isn't the key factor in making sure that someone is successful with their postural care. The key thing that is going to make someone successful, and that the way we're going to protect people's body shape, is by providing that ongoing support.
Hi, I'm Rachel Wright. I'm founder of Born at the Right Time, and I work towards bridging the gap between families like mine and the many practitioners who support us. I provide CPD accredited training and I offer workshops to parents as well. I'm a qualified nurse and a very unqualified parent with 3 boys, one of whom has complex needs and life-limiting condition. It's been a tough year, hasn't it? The pandemic threw us in a bit of a whirlwind and turned it all upside down. But it's not been my toughest year. The transformation from my life as nurse, as A&E nurse, working, having aspirations of a family and a baby, and milestones that I haven't even anticipated, like walking and talking. When I lost those milestones with my first son, who was severely disabled, the transformation from them to toilet seats and how to adjustable benches, hoists and sleep systems was a lot more of a dramatic and life-changing transformation than anything that 2020 threw at us. But in the same way that my life as a parent of a child with complex needs is remarkable and wonderful and fantastic also, there are some good things that have come out of this pandemic as well. Firstly, the health, social care and education world have discovered the virtual world. We now can have Great Ormond Street appointments which don't require a whole day off work, 8 hours driving and purely for a 20-minute consultation. And amazingly, I have managed to arrange in the next couple of weeks a postural care review for my son. I've had to email people, phone people, chase people, but I've set up a meeting and I need Simple Stuff Works to come along. And as a result of the pandemic, I don't have to call the office and do any faffing about, checking people's diaries, waiting when they might be available. I've simply gone online, gone onto Simple Stuff Works website, checked the Calendly, booked my appointment, and it's done. They're going to be here virtually with some other advisors and therapists while 2 of Sam's therapists are in the room with him, with me. That wouldn't have happened pre-2020, and it genuinely is better and easier for me. It genuinely is a benefit to not have to be where everybody else wants you to be, but to enable people to be where you are without them having to drive across the country in order to do it. The people that Sam needs are the people he knows, his inner circle of people. The outer circle of people, of therapists and advisors that are necessary for really good quality care, don't make him feel at ease, don't bring out the best in him. Being in his home with people he knows, getting advice at a distance, at arm's length, brings the best results. So for all the transformation, all the challenges, the difficulties, there are some really good benefits. And I'm thrilled that I can access the support for Sam's sleep system, which is tricky, which does take time to navigate, and things change all the time. He's always changing the goalpost, but I'm so pleased that it's at the tip of my fingers now, and I don't have to be waiting weeks or even days. I can get that support that I need when I need it from my son.
So there we have it. Lots and lots has changed over the past year. And I don't know about you, but I have learned a huge amount about myself. So Anna, what have you learned?
I've learned that I'm not a maths teacher, I know that, and I've learned that school, I will never complain about my children's school ever again. So I've learned that the equipment side of postural care is really important. Obviously, you've got to get the right equipment in place. But what I have learned is that actually we can get equipment in place far more in a far more timely, effective way, doing things remotely. and we can all, like, the skills that we all have are far better implemented in this way. So the hands-on skills of the physio and the OT, they are there with the equipment in place, popping stuff in place around people. They don't need me to go and put the horseshoe pillow underneath someone's legs for them. But I can provide my expertise and my knowledge and my know-how far more effectively remotely.
Well, I have learned that probably over the past 15 years, I have run up and down the country and to all sorts of different parts of the world delivering training. And I think part of that has been to the detriment of my family life, and I've done that as well whilst supporting a child through cancer. So I think probably what I've learned is that I need to embrace technology far more than I have done. And I need that for my work-life balance. And I think that it's something that lots and lots of practitioners that I speak to feel very similar to that we need to be looking after ourselves as well as we look after the people that we support. And if we can do that by using different ways of working, then I think that that's hugely beneficial to everybody.
Absolutely.
Thank you for watching. We hope that you've enjoyed the rest of the exhibition and that we will be in touch with you soon. Take care.
Bye. But then I'm going to cut it because now I'm just
used to protect a body's person shape.
I feel this is going to take us a really long time.
From 90s, the thing's turned off.
Why?
Oh.
I might be able to use that bit though.
Have you finished? I'm ready to start.
Okay.